updated to the new Facebook Live version, so I'm relearning what I'm doing for like 1 second. I apologize. But welcome, good morning for anyone who's there watching me be awkward in this video. Okay, perfect. Good morning. I'm live, people can see me. That's perfect, thanks. So I'm gonna stall for another minute or two so that people can find us, and then we'll get going. Yeah. Make sure that I'm centered. You guys can see me. So welcome to, I believe, week 6 of Pilates and stretching. Chair Pilates and stretching. Starting to lose track of the days and the weeks. So 6th time we're doing this. For anybody who's joining us for the first time, welcome. For those of you who have been sticking with it, I'm so excited to see you back. That means I haven't scared you off somehow or bored you to death. Good morning. Hi guys. So I'm gonna blabber for a second. Hi. My same old reminders. Pilates, particularly chair Pilates, is so much what you make of it. You can certainly take it easy and still get some stretching and movement and circulation out of it, or you can really focus on engaging those muscles and keeping energy in your limbs, keeping yourself stable and engaged throughout, and really get a solid workout. Let's see. Deborah, I am 35 weeks, so I've got at best 5 weeks to go. Woohoo! So that said, also, Pilates is always about engaging the core, which again, hard to see on me, but it is really the depth of the abdominals. So not these kind of gorgeous 6-pack abs that clearly I'm rocking from doing all this Pilates, but the deep core, the things that are underneath. So a lot of times when you hear me say, lift up and in through your belly button or from underneath your belly button, it's to give you an image to get to that deeper core. It also includes your hips, your glutes, kind of all of these core muscles, not just your abdominals. I also wanted to take a second today to talk about ribs and the rib cage and breath. Because I feel like I've given this note throughout sometimes, but some of the arm work and twisting we're going to do today is going to kind of emphasize this. So I just wanted to touch base so that we can kind of keep rolling. And that is, your rib cage is kind of always what we would call closed. So even when you expand the chest and the shoulders, the ribs are more or less in the same place. It's a little easier to see if I turn sideways. If I am opening my chest, my ribs are still kind of closed and engaged, rather than letting everything through here release and your ribs kind of splay open a little more so that the whole front has splayed. We're usually looking to keep this closed in. The flip side of that coin is that a lot of people who are trying to do that end up cutting off their breath and shortening the amount of room their diaphragm has to expand. So you always want to let your ribs kind of naturally grow and shrink, ebb and flow with a good deep breath, but not letting go so much through the spine and the sides that they kind of get to splay open and stick forward. If your ribs are ever sticking forward, chances are you're also arching in your back a little bit, and you can just bring them back into alignment, but still have all this room to breathe. There's a lot of kind of counter movement and contraindication? No, what's the word I'm looking for? It seems to be in conflict with itself a lot, some of the things I say, but the more you start to feel and notice them, the more you'll understand that those are both possible. So there's all of my talking for the morning, and now we're going to start moving. We're going to start by finding some nice aligned sitting, taking a deep breath, making sure that both feet are planted firmly in the floor, that your ankles and your knees and your hips are all in line with each other, that you're feeling both of your sits bones in the chair, that you're far enough forward in your chair that you're not starting to kind of roll back towards the back of the chair, but that your tailbone is dropped and relaxed. Your shoulders are dropped away from your ears. And a gentle breath. Whew. 3 more good breaths this way. Feeling the length of your spine. Feeling the lift through the crown of your head. Feeling the expansiveness of your diaphragm. Even though your lower abdominals are already engaging to keep you supported and sitting upright. And we're going to take some gentle time to stretch out our head and shoulders today. We are going to focus on arms and core a little bit more today. So we're going to spend some time really kind of warming this up. So you can drop your chin towards your chest and take a gentle head circle around. You're not pushing anything yet. This is just to get things moving. Take another circle. And the next time your chin reaches your chest, reverse directions, head back the other way. Keep breathing. The next time your chin reaches your chest, you can bring your head back up to neutral. And some gentle circles in the shoulders. Feeling your scapula, your shoulder blades sliding up and down along your spine. And reversing directions. Keep it breathing. All the while, always feeling this gentle lift from below your belly button, as if your belly button were going to kind of move in and up along your spine, as if somebody just kind of took you gently by the abs and the sides and went and tried to squeeze you in and up from underneath. Take a deep breath in, reach up. From here, you can clasp the hands, or you can leave them open, or you can use one arm at a time, but we're going to do some gentle side stretches. Anchoring the opposite hip down into the chair. So these stretches are only as good as the length from arm to hip. If you start to let that hip sneak up, you're not really getting the stretch all the way down through your hips and your obliques. And back up. And exhale. Inhale up. Actually, I'm going to change that on you. I want you to inhale on your way down. Exhale. So that exhale helps you engage your abdominals. Inhale over. Exhale to contract those abdominals to bring you back up. Keep going. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale over. Exhale up. This time we're going to go over and hold it just for a second. Thinking about length not only through this side, but through this side as well, that you're not crunching down on yourself, but there's still length out through both arms. And up. Other side, hold the same stretch. And bring it up. Arms down, take a deep breath. We're going to go into what some of you might kind of recognize as maybe a cat-cow. So we're just going to start warming up the spine and flexion front and back. You can place your hands on your hips or down next to you in the chair, whichever helps you. We're going to take an inhale, lifting the chest towards the ceiling, lifting our eyes maybe out towards the corner of our ceiling and the wall across from us, and letting the spine, hard to see, letting the spine open and flex a little bit without releasing your lower back in a way that lets it pinch. So you're still supported through your abdominals. You're just opening and flexion. And exhale, curving, rounding, as if you were going to let your tailbone and your head complete a circle. So the crown of the head and your tailbone are reaching towards each other in both directions, as if they were part of a larger circle. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhale, round. Inhale up. Exhale, round. Inhale up. Exhale, round. Last one. Inhale up. Exhale, round it out. And coming back. Still warming up our spine, making sure that we're seated still with both sits bones in the chair, feet on the floor. We're going to take an inhale, reach up. Exhale, gentle twist to reach front and back, looking over your back shoulder. Inhale those arms back up. Exhale, twist. This is just about as far as you can twist through the spine without forcing it. We're not using our hands to push ourselves. We're not gripping onto anything and kind of jamming our spine into a deeper twist. This is really about warming up these muscles that help us twist, because we are going to push them again a little bit later. Inhaling to reach up, exhaling to twist. Knees are still facing front, just a twist through the spine. One more each side. Inhale up, exhale, twist. Inhale up, exhale, twist. Inhale up, back to center. Shake it out, take a deep breath. We are going to do a half roll down, which you may recognize that term if you've been watching, but I'll talk you back through it again, into a forward spinal stretch. So I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see me a little better as best you can. Try to get this out of the way. We're going to start still with feet planted firmly. You're going to exhale to help deepen that contraction, thinking about as if somebody was going to poke you just below your belly button and you just don't want them to. There's that little bit of receding away. You let your pelvis tilt under, tailbone come under just a little bit without collapsing over yourself. You're going to roll back. Allow that to take you as if you're reaching your middle back towards your chair behind you. From here, inhale back up into sitting tall. Exhale with a flat back, with a straight spine, energy through the crown of the head, reaching forward and return. So it goes exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, curve and straighten and stretch and straighten. And curve, and straighten, and stretch long through the spine, and straighten, and straighten, stretching forward, and straighten. You might have a little more range of motion than I do, that's fine. Go for your range of motion that still feels like a warm-up. We're really still warming up through our hips now, through our spine, through our lower back. Last set, half roll down and up, forward stretch, and up, and bring arms back down. All right, so that's kind of our warm up for the day, getting everything loose, getting some blood flowing. Now we're going to move into a bit of a prolonged arm sequence. So we're going to work on chest, arms, shoulders, traps, all of this good stuff up here today, which I think often in Pilates, I end up talking a lot about the core. It seems like the focus is on the core, but there's still a lot to be done in the upper chest to help keep us from getting into this slumped concave place and allow us to kind of strengthen and open at the same time. So that's what we're doing today. So we're going to start with just arm raises and lowers, but again, thinking about the ways that we're isolating the movement into our arms and shoulders and not letting our ribs kind of open and close in response to the movement in our shoulders. So inhaling the arms up in alignment with the ears, perhaps a little behind if you've got a lot of range of motion, but not, again, releasing through the front to let them go any further back. And exhaling, pressing back and down. Inhaling, lift. Exhale, press. As you lift, as your arms come past that point of horizontal plane and you feel gravity kick in, you might actually notice, if you're paying attention, a slight difference in the contraction of your lower abdominals. So they kind of deepen their contraction to help you overcome gravity there. So paying attention to the way that our abdominals are impacted by and impact our movement, even something as simple as lifting our arms. Inhaling up, Exhaling, pushing down and back. Inhaling, lift. Exhale, back and down. One more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back and down. And release. Right away, inhale and lift the arms up. Exhale, bring them out into right angles. We're going to bring our elbows and forearms together, trying to get them all to touch at once. If you can't come together in the center, that's fine. But think about leading more with your elbows and forearms and less about the palms. That lets our arms rotate and you won't get the same benefit. So we're really thinking about bringing our elbows together. And open. Exhale. And open. Exhale. And open. Exhale. Open. We're going to do two more this way. Exhale. And open. Now I'm going to add, for those of you who have some range of motion or who might be working on range of motion, that as you open, again, you can open the elbows past your shoulders if you have that range of motion, but it's happening here in the elbow or in the shoulder and not because I'm letting my ribs open. So you can see the difference there. This is my range of motion in my shoulder. This is letting my chest open to help accommodate that. So we're going to keep going. Exhale, close. Inhale, open, and push that range of motion. Exhale, close. Inhale and open. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Going on your breath, your timing, that might be a little faster or slower than mine. If you're in a really zen place today, you might have some really slow breath. That's wonderful. Last one. And open. Bring them back down. Shake them out for a second. We're going to move right into the next thing. So we're going to inhale our arms up. We're going to bring them down into this right angle and push them back up. Now this time we're going to allow our elbows to come past this right angle space, but because we're imagining that we're pressing our forearms back against the wall, as if you had paint along the back of your arms and you were going to paint the wall behind you and then press it back up. Another image that might help is if you imagine that you have rubber bands above your head that you're pulling down on and releasing. So the emphasis is really on this pull and release. Pulling down, elbows coming slightly behind your shoulders and up, down, and up. You don't have to use the fists, but if it helps you with that image of pulling down and in, by all means, go ahead. And up. Keeping yourself supported through your low core. Up. Last one. And up. Breathe it down. Shake them out. Take a breath. We're going to move right into another arm exercise. So I told you we're really going to focus on arms today. Hopefully you'll feel them tomorrow in a good way. In a good way. If you ever need to take a break, take a break. Put your arms down, shake them out, come back to it when you're ready. All right. So now we're going to do some pulses. These will come back again later. I know I've explained these before, but as a quick review, you're going to inhale with 5, 3, 4, 5, and exhale as you pulse for 5. Now, traditionally in Pilates, your breath is also pulsed. It's staccato. So hopefully you can hear me, but it would sound like this. To support that process. Now, if that's not for you, and you just want to take a good solid inhale and exhale for 5 pulses, that's fine too. You'll probably hear me doing a pulse breath. The other thing is that pulsing your arms like this, pulsing any limb like this, makes the rest of you kind of want to wobble and bounce along with. So this is really a testament to how you're going to engage your deep core through your lower abdominals, through your hips, through even the space back here in your glutes and around the top of your sacrum to keep you from wobbling all over the place in your chair as you're pumping. They're small, controlled movements. So we're going to inhale our arms up here to the front. Exhale your breath and inhale for 5. Exhale. Side in. Out. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4. Switch. In, 2, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going. Keep going. Make sure your shoulders aren't sinking up to your ears. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last time. And release. Check in with your shoulders. They're still melting away from your ears, that you're not letting this tension sneak in here and do a little bit of the Frankenstein, but that things are really still relaxed and that you're using your arm muscles isolating into that space. Excuse me. 2 more arm exercises. I'm just going to talk you right through the next one because it's super simple. You're going to bring your arms out to the side, palms up, fingers up. Sorry, palms flexed, fingers up. We're going to circle to the front for 10 and to the back for 10. Then we're going to change the position of our fingers to rotate towards the front. Circle front for 10, circle back for 10. Then we're going to rotate, and as much as you can, you're rotating your fingers towards the back wall and maybe even down. Circle front for 10 and back for 10. Again, still using your deep core to keep you stabilized and keeping your shoulders down. Take a deep breath in, reach up, circle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rotate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rotate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release. Hold on to that. We're going to come back to it, but to give you a break, we're going to switch into a different exercise and then go back to that one. So this is the last arm exercise you'll learn, but the next to last one you'll do. We're going to bring the arms open. You're going to cross one over top of the other to the front, switch, and open. Front, switch, open. This is not necessarily about speed. This is still slow and controlled. That sometimes makes you work a little harder. It makes you pay attention to your form. You have time to ask yourself questions about, are my fingertips in line with my shoulders? Or am I starting to sink down? Are my shoulders up to my ears? Or am I keeping them away from my neck, keeping space? Cross, cross, open. Cross, cross, open. Last one. Cross, open. Float them down. Take a deep breath. Roll the shoulders back and down. Check your alignment, that you haven't been kind of sinking into yourself the more that we do this. Or in the opposite direction, letting yourself kind of release through your tailbone and sneak your way forward. You're still sitting tall, sitting supported. We're going to do our circles one more time. Float the arms up. Take a deep breath. Rotate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rotate the fingers forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse. Check in with your abdominals. Are you using that core to keep you stable? 9, 10. Rotate fingers back and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. All right. Take a deep breath. Take one arm out and across, pulling it in, dropping your shoulder down away from your ear just to get a nice stretch. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Drop them, swing them. Other arm comes out and across. Keep the shoulder down away from your ear. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Let them drop and swing. That is the end of the arm exercise portion. So now you can let that go. But now we're going to move on to our ab series. So we are going to take some time to really focus in here on the deep core, specifically the abdominals this time around, but really working through the whole core. I'm probably going to turn to the side so you can see me a little better. If you've got a mirror set up in front of you that turning side so that you can see your alignment a little better works for you, then by all means do. I'm going to, my carpet's actually a little uneven. So I'm going to try to put myself on even ground, and hopefully that means you can still see me. Oh, good. That should work. So for this, we're going to start most of these exercises with the half roll down, which we've talked about before. I talked about a little bit earlier today already, but to talk you through it again, the half roll down is exhaling, taking that exhale, that contraction as the initiative to allow the pelvis to tilt under a little bit, the lower back to round gently, but with the support of a deeply engaged core, so that your belly button is kind of moving in and up along your spine. Your lower abdominals are kind of going for this motion, in and up. And again, allowing some roundness through the back, but not a collapsing forward and over. If you ever find that your chin is in your chest, you've probably released too far through here. Everything is still engaged and held long. You're just allowing it to be rounded. So this is our half roll down. From here, if you want a deeper, if you want a deeper workout for your abdominals, you can take this and kind of tilt the whole thing back in towards the back of your chair. You're gonna have to work harder to hold yourself in this position. I want you to focus on having that support still coming through your core and not through gripping in your hips. That isn't gonna help you. If you feel that your knees are sneaking together or your thighs are sneaking up, you're probably gripping in your hip. And that's taking the work away from your core and putting them in your hips. And you're gonna pay for that tomorrow. So really, really focusing on letting your legs be loose and relaxed and the support really coming from your core. If you ever need to come up out of it, to give yourself a break and re-engage, feel free. I used to hang out back here in this nice tilted position and get a deeper workout. I ain't doing that anymore. So you'll probably see me just with this gentle rounded tilt, enough to get that depth of engagement, but not really kind of pushing any sort of strain into my lower back because I don't have the abs that I used to. So all of that talking is really to give you a break. And we're going to start with the 100, which is 100 arm pumps. So you're going to breathe in for 5 and out for 5 for a set of 10. Arms stay front. So we're going to take an exhale, roll down in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5. Shoulders down and away. 3, 4. Pay attention to your thighs. If they're wobbling all over the place. 7. 8. 9. I'm definitely wobbling. And bring them back up. So that little bit of wobble is not necessarily a bad thing. You're going to get some of that, but that also helps you know that you're working on stabilizing and trying to deepen that connection. The phone's ringing. So we're going to do another half roll down, and then we're going to go into our thigh lifts. So we're going to extend our arms out front to kind of help us remember to be long engaged. Tuck, half roll down. Simply thigh lift one leg, And then the other leg. We're not going to return to sitting. We're going to stay here. This is 2. We're going for 15 today. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep breathing. 9. Keep engaging those abdominals, lifting in and up. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, almost there. 15. And bring yourself back up to sitting. All right. Right away, again, we're going to go into that half roll down. We're going to add some complexity to that, though. So we're going to stay in the half roll down, rolling down. You're going to lift the thigh. You're going to extend that leg out, probably just slightly below the knee next to it, or in line if you choose. You're really kind of reaching on a low angle, that line, and at the same time, your arms are going to come up by your ears. Grab the knee again and put it down. Knee, extend, grab, and down. Knee, extend, grab it, put it down. Knee, extend, grab it, put it down. If you need to come up out of that half roll down, because this is enough work for you, that's fine. Just make sure you're still engaging your lower abdominals. You're still using your core to support this movement and not isolating it into your hips. Exhale and down. Exhale, inhale, exhale, and down. Keep going. Exhale, inhale, exhale, and down. Exhale, inhale, exhale, and down. Keep going. One more. And down. Bring yourself back up to sitting. Take a second. If you need to kind of release your thighs, wobble the knees in and out, that's fine. Check in with your lower back. If you're starting to feel some strain down here, it might mean that you're pushing your abdominals, which is great, but pay attention to that. Check in with yourself. Make sure you're not pushing your lower back too hard. You want to take care of that as well. Let's see. Checking my notes. Okay. So the half roll down on this one is optional. If you feel like this really helps you get to that core, go for it. If you're kind of done with that half roll down right now, you can let it go. I'm going to turn back and face you. All we're going to do is 15 leg raises with an extended leg. And today we're going to rotate out from the hip. So I know last week we talked a lot about rotating from up here in the hip socket rather than letting it be from the ankle. Same thing today. So we're going to either take a half roll down, then lift the leg, or simply stay sitting and lift the leg out at the angle that is comfortable for you. Lift the leg, extend. 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and put it down. Bring yourself back up. You can see I start to wobble, I re-engage, I find some more stability. You can watch it happen. And roll down. Other leg. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Put it down, back up. One more each side. Roll it down. And 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Put it down and back up. Half roll down. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Put it down. Bring it back up and relax. All right, we've done a lot of work in the sagittal, in the front and the back. So we're going to take a little bit of time to twist out our spine, wring that out a little bit, help us stretch and release a little more. Two different twisting exercises through our abdominals, but again, every twist is engaged and supported. So you're still lifting through that core as if you were going to twist and screw something up into the ceiling. So it starts with a squeeze here and then a lift. So squeezing in and up through the core still helps us kind of rotate up and out of our spine as we twist, rather than kind of crunching down into ourselves. This first one is just combining a spinal twist with a thigh lift. We are not looking to bring our thigh and our knee together. We are simply doing them both at the same time, so that the thigh is lifting maybe towards the elbow, but we are not going to bring our elbow towards our knee. We're going to stay in an upright spinal twist on top. It's really going to give you some crunch in there. As you bring your arms up, inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale. You can probably get your thigh higher than I can. I've lost some of that range of motion. My belly's in the way. But keep going with the amount of thigh lift you can get. So mine's going to be a little more about the twisting and a little less about the thigh lift. That's okay. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale, back. Exhale, twist. Inhale, back. One more each side. And back. And arms down. The last thing we're going to do is a modified version of an exercise called the saw. Normally this would be done sitting on the floor with your feet extended out in front of you. If you happen to have a second chair that you would like to bring in front of you and lay your legs up and lay your legs in so that you are seated in the same way, you're welcome to. Or if you want to get down on the floor and sit with your legs extended in front of you, you are welcome to. However, I'm going to show the version that is just seated with feet still planted in the floor and focusing more on the spine, the abdominals, and the twist at the top. So it's called a saw. I'm going to change it to the side again so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. So in the version with your legs extended, there is some rounding through the spine as we move forward. To modify for the chair, I'm going to keep a straight spine, a flat back. It's a little bit different, but it's adapting towards what we're doing. So we're going to start arms in front. You're going to open one arm and a twist to the back. Let me do it towards you so you can see me a little better. From here, you're going to shift forward in one of those spinal stretches that we practiced earlier, as if you were sliding your whole arm along the table and bringing it back. And then close it. Open, slide, open, close. That's one version. Before we get going, I'm going to show you another version sitting. You can also put the opposite leg out straight and just deepen a little bit of the stretch through that leg. So you'd have to open the arms and extend the same leg as the direction you're opening. Move forward and bring it back each time. I'm going to do that version. If you want to let go of the feet, forget about the feet. Just focus on the top half. We're going to do a set of 10. So right, left counts as 1, 10 altogether. Feet planted on the floor, shoulders down, abdominals in and up, spine long, head floating up, gently lifted. And here you go. Open. Stretch. That's 1. This is beginning our third set. Hello. 4. Keep breathing. Keep checking in that you're supporting yourself through those abdominals. Keeping your shoulders away from your ears. This begins 6. We're over halfway done. Keep breathing. I've grown quiet. I'm sorry. I'm giving you space to think. 9. Last set. And down. Roll the shoulders down the back. Shake everything out. Take a deep breath. Get a drink of water. If you need one, loosen up as you need to. We're going to take a quick stretch break. If you'd like to join me in that. Something as gentle as dropping your chin to the chest, letting the weight of your head. Slowly pull your spine down, rounding over, laying into your thighs and relaxing forward. I don't have that far I can go, but certainly if you can get a little further forward, allowing that release to happen. Lengthen through your spine. Taking a breath. If you want to loosen your head, shake your head out. Swing the arms if you want. And as you inhale, slowly rolling yourself back up to sitting. Before we stand, since we've done some work that does kind of lead us in towards our hips, if we're not careful, we're going to do a quick stretch for our legs, and then we're going to move to standing and finish standing today. So if you can, scooping your knee in and up. You can either keep it here and just let this be a nice kind of relaxed stretch that allows your hip to fall back into the socket, or you can bring the ankle over into a figure 4 stretch, allowing the thigh to fall down towards the floor. If you want to deepen that stretch, lean forward into it gently, taking a few deep breaths. Bringing the thigh back up and switching them out. Pulling that hip back into the socket, crossing the leg over, allowing the thigh to fall towards the floor, leaning forward into that leg if you so choose, taking a few deep breaths. Bringing yourself back, returning the thigh and foot to the floor. Shifting one direction onto your chair so that you can allow this leg to drop down towards the floor a little bit. And we're just going to use this as a gentle kind of thigh stretch. So you can, I know it's hard for you to see, let me tilt this down maybe, so you can see a little better for now. Allowing this leg to kind of release, relax on the floor next to you. Foot relaxed on the floor underneath. I'm really just letting the weight of my thigh at this point give me a gentle stretch. It's not quite the same as kind of pushing into a lunge, but it lets this kind of hang open and loose. You can even wobble your knee back and forth. I want you to feel a relaxed, passive stretch here, actually. And bringing that leg back and shifting to the other side, allowing that leg to release. You can hold on to the other side of your chair for some support if you need to. Wobbling the knee until you feel it release if you'd like, and bringing yourself back. All right, we're going to move to standing for a moment. Whew. So now the opposite. Let's see if I can get this tilted high enough that you can see me while I'm standing. Maybe a little too high. All right. From here, taking a moment just to stand in alignment, to feel how nice it feels to get your weight out of your sits bones for a moment and let them relax and drop towards the floor. Still keeping your lower back supported through your abdominals, not letting things release on you. Still keeping yourself upright. Hips, knees, toes in alignment, shoulders down. Chest gently lifted. Head forward. Taking a deep breath. From here, we're going to move into our toe heel rocks. So I'm not going to tilt the screen again this week as I've done some weeks. But again, just either testing your balance, finding balance by shifting forward into the balls of your feet and back into your heels, letting those little stabilizer muscles work. Or if you want to go for more work in your ankles and calves, really taking a rise into your toes. For those of you who are former ballerinas, taking a releve, up onto our toes, and then shifting back into our heels. Up into our toes, shifting back until you can lift your toes off the floor. So pushing through into the toes to take a rise, and shifting back to lift the toes in front. Keeping that going. Nice and slow. This is also about your stabilization. If you want to test your balance by letting go of the chair to see how you do, go for it. Using your glutes to help you, particularly as you're going backwards over your heels. Whoops, and too far for me. Last one. All right. Coming back forward, we're going to take a nice stretch again through our spine. So we did this sitting. Now we're going to do it standing. Thinking about keeping our hips even. It's really hard for you to see my hips when the chair's in front of me. But keeping them even, so not shifting out into our pelvis as we lean side to side, but keeping these even, not dropping up and down. Lifting one arm, either taking both arms over, nice and long, hands clasped or not, or dropping one arm towards your thigh to give you a little extra support, and taking one arm over, and returning, and the other way. Of course, using your chair for support if you need it, but paying attention to those hips, that they are anchored, that you're thinking about this hip, this same hip as the arm that is reaching, staying long and away from that arm. Keep going. Couple more, one more each side. Last one. And bring it back. All right, from here. Something that we've done sitting before, I'm going to take it into standing so that we can have a little bit of a contraction with it, a little bit of spinal work. We're going to circle the arms back, then the elbows, then the full arm. And from here, we're going to let this allow this to send us into a contraction. So as your arms sweep forward, they're also going to sweep your pelvis underneath with it. And we're going to come into just a nice little curved spine, happening again because we're contracting our abdominals in and up and really crunching this in. So everything comes into a curve. Ooh. And then we send it back around. Arms, elbows, shoulders. Oh, same contraction, press. So it's just this nice rounding through the spine as if your crown of your head and your tailbone are going to reach for each other. And you're going to hollow out through the middle. So our shoulders, elbows, arms, and a little contraction. Woo. And arms, elbows, shoulders, a little contraction. Shoulders, elbows, arms contract, and arms, elbows, shoulders contract. Again, shoulders, elbows, arms contract through the abdominals. Arms, elbows, shoulders, little contraction. One more time for mastery. Shoulders, elbows, arms, a little contraction. Arms, elbows, shoulders, little contraction. Now what I forgot to say, should have said, is you can take that back to sitting if you need to, or you can simply do one arm at a time if you need to kind of hold on for balance. And I would just do one here and then switch your arm, do one on the other side to make sure that you feel as supported as you need to feel in all of this. We're going to stretch it out just a little more. We're going to place our chair right in front of us. Walk your feet back until you're in a flat back. I know I've said this a million times, but keeping those abdominals engaged so that your back is supported and flat and not releasing your chest down too far or releasing your lower back so that it hangs unsupported. You are going to keep your ankles, your knees, and your hips in alignment and not press back past them. Knees soft so that you're not locking into your knees. And ideally, ears between your shoulders. Allow this flat back to just kind of stretch you out long. Taking another breath here. If you'd like, pressing into the palms of the hands just to lift the chest and the head a little. Still keeping your abdominals supported. And sending them down through. Softening in the knees to walk yourself back to standing. All right. Let's see. Checking in with myself. We're going to take a lunge on each leg and then return to sitting to really kind of wrap up and settle. So, holding onto the back of the chair, taking a step back away with one leg. I'm going to tilt this down. So again, you'll see my feet, not so much my face. That's okay. Taking a little step away, putting that weight into that front leg. This might even be enough for you to already start to feel a stretch here in the front of your hip. The moment you start to feel that stretch, that is where I want you to be. We're not looking to kind of lengthen so far in the leg that we're deepening this into a quad engagement. I want this to be a relaxed stretch for you. Now, that said, if you've got really loose hips, and this is doing absolutely nothing for you, and you need to deepen that to get a good stretch out of the front of your hip flexor, by all means do. Also, making sure that you're not leaning into the stretch in a way that takes this stretch out of the hip and puts it just into a quad engagement, but staying upright, thinking about sending the pelvis forward along the track, keeping the tailbone dropping towards the floor rather than releasing, so that you're creating as much length here without having to do as much depth in the crease of your opposite hip. Sending that heel towards the floor, softening your back knee to step in, other foot. Again, maybe about a foot apart is enough. Start to get this stretch. If you need to deepen it just a little, please do. Keeping the back supported, not letting the tailbone go, not leaning over that front leg, staying as upright as we can. letting it be about length through the front of the thigh and the hip. Sending your back heel into the floor. Softening that back knee to step in and out. All right. Bring my chair back around. We're going to end with maybe 1 or 2 gentle stretches. And being seated. You can see me okay. From here, take a moment to sit and breathe. We're going to take a breath in, reach up. Exhale, float the arms down. So up until now, I've been asking you to really press and imagine that you've got resistance. We're going to let that go a little bit, and this is more for stretching and breathing and opening and relaxing. So taking a deep breath in, reach up. Exhale, float down. Inhale, reach up one more time. Exhale, float down. From here, if you are able, you're going to grab the chair behind you. If you are not able to actually get a hold of the chair behind you, you're going to reach towards the chair behind you. And it's just in service of opening our chest, opening the front of our shoulders. We've done a lot of work in our arms and shoulders today. So you reach for that. If you can grab the back of the chair and you want to lean forward into it, to deepen the stretch in the fronts of your shoulders, you may. I would still say make sure you're using your abdominals to support your lower back so that you're not just kind of splaying out through the front again. And the higher up on the chair, I know I'm facing you again, the higher up you can grab on the chair behind you, the more you're going to get that stretch in your shoulders. Taking another deep breath or two here. One more. Softening the elbows, releasing your grip. We're going to plant our hands on the chair next to where our hips are. If your chair, like mine, is not very wide and you don't necessarily have room to put your hands in the chair, you certainly can reach for the seat of the chair or hook your arms underneath. And from here, as if you were pressing down into the chair, not just as if, but hopefully you can actually press down into the chair in order to lift this chest in and up and through. Now, up until now, I've said, don't let your ribs release. Keep them closed. Now I'm going to tell you, as long as you're still supporting your lower back with your abdominals, you can really let this whole front of you release, open. We're going to turn sideways. So that it is about this lift up and back while pressing down into this chair. Keeping the shoulders pressing away from the ears, keeping the arms pressing down into the chair. Chest lifted. And returning. Drop your chin towards your chest. Take a soft flexion forward. Rounding through the spine. And coming back to sitting. Last thing. Taking your arms in front of you. Pulling your chest away from your arms just to get a nice deep rounded spine. If you want to shift one arm forward or one shoulder forward, just to kind of feel your muscles between your shoulder blades. Go for it. And bringing yourself back, clasping your hands behind you, sending your chest towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in, reach up. Exhale, float it down. Take a deep breath in, send the arms open. Exhale, reach for your shoulder blades. You can even drop your chin down here. And release. Take one more deep breath because you need it. Keep breathing. Keep supporting yourself. And thanks for joining me. Hopefully I'll see you next week too. Have a good day. Have a good week.